And hello everyone, welcome back to another tutorial. So in the past I've made a video where we did create a basic bot, and up until today, or up until this day I should rather say, to have better English, my bot still runs. So if I were to go here, my bot here, it still runs and it still has all of the basic functionality that my bot used to have. If we say slash, you can say all of the things here. The problem is it's just so basic, and I really want to just improve it to be better. So today I'm going to show you how to create a Telegram bot, but this time with code. We're going to be using Python and a module called PyTelegramBot API. It may sound like a big and difficult name, but actually it's rather simple. I'd almost say as easy, if not easier, than Discord Pi, if you have ever used Discord Pi. But let's get started. So what do you need to know? Just some basic Python would probably be fine. But yeah, that's actually all you need to know. And you just need to create an account on Telegram so you can actually use it. You can also be on your phone. I'm just going to do it here, so I don't have to display my phone here or record the screen or whatnot. Okay, so step one is to actually install the library. It's simple. It's pip install PyTelegramBot API. Now I believe I already have mine installed, so it will probably not might reinstall it, but it will probably not actually continue installing. Yeah, requirements already satisfied, so yeah. Next up, we want to actually create a bot. So we have to go and find bot fodder. So bot fodder right here. Here is actually already in what you see. You might see this API key, don't worry. This bot is going to be deleted anyways. So even though you are seeing an API key here, it's going to be deleted. So it doesn't matter if you see this API key or not. Anyhow, we want to create a new bot. So slash new bot. If you are on a normal phone, you can just tap slash help. And this will give you all of the things, and you can just click on slash new bot. And this will create a new bot for us. Here you can enter the name. I'm going to call this YouTube example bot with a smiley face. And now here we have to kind of give it like its username. This is a very special username, and I believe all usernames has to be unique. And this username has to end in underscore bot to signify that it's a bot. So I'm going to say YT example bot smiley, because it has a smiley face, and then bot. Although think what you're going to call this here, because I don't know if you can change this, but this is just as an example, so I'll show you. Also, creating a bot is completely free, so you don't have to worry about it. Once you've done that, you will have your API key, which is very important. You do need your API key. Copy this, and don't ever give your API key to anyone. If someone sees your API key, they can and probably will try to access your bot and modify it in ways you don't want it. Anyhow, now you could just say API key, and you can make it equal to this. However, or let's just, you make it equal to this. However, I would not recommend this. If it's just going to be in your main code, it's very dangerous, especially if someone can see your code, because then you can be like, oh, there's the API key. So what you do is you create another file, a Python file. I'm going to call mine constant. Jeez. There we go. .py. Of course, you can maybe call yours like secret Python or something like that. Anything that might suit your needs. I'm just going to call it constant. And then you, maybe let's say you use GitHub. Just tell it don't push this to anything. Save it. And remember just to keep this out of any GitHub repos and stuff like that. So this file should not be shared anywhere. People should not be able to see what goes inside of this file. Anyhow, we set the API key in here. And now we can just say from constant import, and here we can just say API key. There we go. And now I can use this API key here. Next up, we also need to actually import this module we installed. So to do that, it's rather simple. It's just import telebot. This is for Telegram bot. Great. So now we have our Telegram bot imported, and we have our constant API key imported as well. And since we have this, our bot should now be working. Now you can just click here to go to your bot. So I'm going to click there, and now here's the bot. I'm going to say start, and now we can make this bot do things. So right here, we can just start doing pretty cool things. So I'm going to say bot. You can call this whatever you want. I just like to use bot to make it easy. And we can just say that is equal to a telebot. And inside here, we can then pass in the API key. So I'm going to say API key right there. And you can specify the parse mode. And I'm just going to make that none. I have no real idea what this parse mode does. I believe maybe, let's say you pass in some JSON here and you can just say parse it as JSON or something like that. I have no idea. But yeah, once you've done that, you have basically successfully created your bot. Now we need to make our bot actually listen for messages. So when someone sends a message, our bot should actually notice that message. So we can then say bot.pulling. You can also pass in some values in this pulling right here, but we're just going to keep it clean. So it will, I think, every 20 milliseconds check if something has happened. And yeah, and everything can just go between these two, just to keep things simple and organized. Now take note, everything I'm about to teach you can also be found online. So here is the GitHub repository. So let's just go up and here, Pi Telegram Bot API by Ferner, I guess. And here's also the normal Telegram bot API, which you can also find a lot of details about the bot and whatnot. And yeah, I'm going to close all of these to save some extra resources. And now that we have that, we can make our bot actually work. So let's create our first message instance. So I'm going to say at bot.message handler. And in here, we can specify the commands. So this is just something you can wrap your kind of function with. And yeah, we just put this above every function that our bot should use for message handling. And yeah, so we can just say commands. And let's say, for example, we want the commands /hello and /help to do this. So /help and hello. Take note, we don't put slash in here by default. It will add a slash for you when you send a message. And in here, we can just say define, and we can call it whatever we want. So I'm just going to say send help message. This is just kind of how I like to name my messages, but what you name it doesn't matter. I just like to say send to know that the bot is going to send something. Then what is its details, so help, and in the end message, just to, I don't know, just so message. And then we can just bring in the message. Although I like to go MSG just to make it a bit shorter, but you can say message as well. Both of them will do the same thing on the end of the day. Here we can actually say what should happen. So I'm going to say bot.reply to. And this will make the bot reply to the person who sent that message. And you'll see what I mean in a second. And here we can just pass in message. So it knows one message to reply to. And then also the text it should send. Hello, this is a test bot. And this should be MSG because I called it MSG. There we go. So this is our first message. So in basically 11 lines of code, if you wanted to, we can probably shorten this to 7 lines of code. We have created our first bot that can do the very basics. I'm going to run Python and in main.py. And my bad, I got a little bit excited. This should be telebot.telebot. And take note of our capitalizations here. And now if we run it, we should be able to do it. Okay, you won't really see anything here. You could probably like put a start message or something there just so you know it started. But once we're here, let's see. Okay, it doesn't have any pop-ups. We'll have to add that with bot fodder. But anyways, you can say help. No, it should be /help, not help. And now it will send us hello. This is a test bot. And as you can see, it replied to my help message right here. That's what the reply to meant. So basically what we did is we said, okay, bot, here's a message handler. If the help or hello command is sent, then execute this function. Then it says reply to, and then we pass in the message we get here, because this message is this right here. And we pass it in so it knows which message to reply to. And then we say what it should say. So this is the text it should send. Take note that it needs to have a slash. So if I say hello, as you can see, nothing happens. But if I say slash hello, something will happen. So one thing you do have to take note of is this message variable we take in here. You would have noticed on the websites I showed you that there was a bunch of variables and stuff you could access, and all of these variables and stuff can be accessed via the message, or not all of them, but most of them can. So if we print out MSG, then this will send back a ton of the data the message contains. I'm just going to restart the server here, and now if I were to send here hello, as you can see, a ton of details get sent back to us. This is everything what's inside of that message. So here you can get like the content type of the message, to the beginning, to the from user. So take note, if you use JavaScript or something, you might just use user, but if you use Python or this in particular, this module, it'd be from user. And then here you'd have your user ID, the bot, the first name of the user, the username, last name, language code, and just a bunch of details that can be useful depending on how you use it. Anyhow, so you can just take note of that. And of course you can access any of these things by just going dot and let's say from user, by just doing that. And then you can access it as well. Anyhow, let's remove that and continue. Now let's say you want the bot to send something back, or to send a message if the user sends a specific content type. For example, an audio or a photo, or maybe a document or a sticker. So I'm just going to copy this, and here I'm going to create a new one here, and this will be, or this will contain the content types. And here you can specify the content types. For example, I'm going to specify photo and sticker, because they would be the easiest. Okay, now once we have that, we can just change this to send content message, and then bot.reply to, and we can just specify the message again, and here we can say that's not a text message. Anyhow, we save that. Now if we stop this and run it again, and we go back to our bot here, and if I just send something normal, it won't really care. But as soon as I send something like a sticker, for example, so let me just click a heart here, send that sticker, and that is not a text message. As you can see, if I were to send an image, so let me just quickly find an image. If I send this image, and that is not a text message. So you can also listen for specific content types. And take note, there's also a lot more of these that exist. For example, we have a regex exp. There we go. And this is if you want to match specific regex. And we also have things like func. So this will search for functions that are called. So you can, if this function returns true, then something will happen. I'll give you an example of the function one, but I would give you one of the regex one because I don't know any regex. But I can give you an example of the function one. And I can also show you about stacking these. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to change this to commands, and let's say boo. Let's say if someone sends this command, boo, then the following should be said: wow, you're scary. Right? Now if I were to, and I should probably just change this to send multi. I'm just giving it stupid names, but you shouldn't give your stupid names. And then here we can, if you run it again, if I say slash boo, then we get wow, you're scary. But let's say you also want them to send this message if my specific user says something to them. For example, you might be in a group, and let's say the user, and it's just like a joke for your friends. So let's say whenever Timmy sends a message, this bot should reply with, "Wow, that's so great," or something like that. Now you could do something like that. So when the user Timmy sends something. So I'm going to copy this right here. And I'm going to change this from commands to func. And this is going to take in a lambda function. So lambda. And I'm going to take in the message that has been sent. And this message is going to be, or this is going to go msg dot from user. So we're accessing one of the variables we can find here. And you'll notice that, let's actually resize this a bit. Here's the from user. If we can find the first name here, we can see that it's Netsu. Or even the username, it's Netsu Dagnil. So let's access this username and makes that whenever Netsu Dagnil sends a message, that it should say this. Then you can say dot username is equal to Netsu Dagnil. So whenever this lambda function turns true, this should execute. And here we're basically getting the same message object as it's getting passed in here. And it's just checking, hey, is the username the same as this? Then do the following. Let's restart our server. Now, even if I don't say boo, if I just go lol, it's going to say, wow, you're scary. Or if I go away, it's going to reply, wow, you're scary. Or I could even say /boo, wow, you're scary. Let's see what happens if we say hello. Then it says hello, this is a test bot, but it doesn't say you're scary. So it will basically execute the first one it finds, but you could probably also just copy this and paste it here as well if you wanted to. So just so we understand what happened here, is that whenever the user of this username, Netsudagnil, which is me, sends a message, then it's a reply of wow, you're scary, or when they say /boo. Now let's try to send in a dice. You'll notice that if we were to, let's say, dice here, then we can throw a dice and it can give us like a little number here. So we got 4. Now we can actually do this with the bot as well. We can say send dice. And now this dice, all it needs is the chat ID to which send the dice to. Now you can get the chat ID by saying message, or we can say chat ID actually, just to specify. And we can say message dot chat dot ID. And of course you can go check here and you'll find the chat ID here. Now if we were to run this, now whenever I send something or even boo or whatnot, it will throw a dice. So hey. And now as you can see, it throws a dice. Lol. Lol. And there we go. So it threw 3 dices. We got a 3, we got a 5, and we got a 4. Nice. So that's pretty neat. We can also make the bot send a message. I'm just going to comment this out so it doesn't really send this message every time I try and do something. But we can also send a message whenever a user edits their message. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to delete this. And I'm just going to change this to edited message handler, as you can see right there. And we can change the command here to, let's say, noise. And then we can just, instead of sending a dice, we can now actually send a normal message. So without replying like we've been doing this entire time, we can send a normal message. To do that, we can just say send message. And we can pass in the chat ID and then the message we want to send. So then we can just say text here and then, wow, I saw what you did. So whenever they edit the message, then it will say, wow, I saw what you did. And we can just change this to send edit message. And here we can say python main.py. And now let's say I say lol. It doesn't send anything. But now I go here and I say edit message. And now instead of saying lol, I say /noise. And boom. Wow, I saw what you did. So you can make it that this message will be sent because let's say they mistyped the command. Now you can make it that this message is sent when they edit this as well. So you can just add an edit message handler here as well by help at hello. But it's not necessary, but it's just kind of cool. You can also change the keyboard the user has, which is really, really neat. So I'm going to scroll down a bit, and then I'm going to copy this. And actually I want to copy this one up here because that's kind of what I want at the moment. Okay. Now here I'm going to change the command to game. So let's say I want to play a game. And now we also want to import. So from telebot, import types. Okay, now that we have imported types, we can change this to send game message, and we can remove that. And here we can create a markup. So this is what it's called when you change their keyboard. And we can make that equal to types dot reply keyboard markup. So this will basically allow us to kind of set how the new keyboard should look. So in this case, I want to give it a row width of 2. So a row width would basically be able to contain 2 items in it. All right, now that we have that, we can say btn1 is equal to types dot keyboard button. And now we're changing the button that we want to have on it. And here I can say, let's say, how do you throw a dice again? Throwing a dice is boo. Okay, so let's go /boo. So this will throw dice. You can put whatever you want in here. I just want to put commands in here. In this case, boo will do this. And we can have, let's create 3 buttons. Now button 2 and button 3. We want button 3 to basically close this keyboard right here. Now this button 2 will contain, let's say, help. So let's say if they want some help. And here we can say close. Okay, cool. Now if we want to add these so it actually appears, we have to say markup dot add, and then we have to add the buttons. So btn1, btn2, and btn3. Now we're adding it to the keyboard, and let's just scroll down a bit. And now here we can just say bot dot send message. Yeah, let's copy this send message there. There we don't have to type as much. And then here we have the chat ID already given to us. Yeah, and then here we can say, what do you want, for example. And in here we can specify the reply markup, because it should now contain this markup here equal to this markup. Now what you might want to do is you might want to make this like some sort of global version or something, so you can use this over and over again. But anyhow, now once you've done that, let's save it and let's see what happens. So now here, if I say /game, we get a little keyboard here. If I say /help, now it's going to send me the help. Say go boo, and then there it throws me a dice. But close doesn't work yet, so we have to modify it so close actually works. So I'm going to copy this, and right above it, I'm going to specify what happens when we say close. So you might want to change this to not just say close, because you might want to do close multiple times. But anyhow, now this markup, we can just say, instead of reply keyboard markup, we can say dot reply keyboard remove, because we want to remove it. And in here, we can also just specify selective equals false. I have no idea what selective means, but go for it, use it. And in here, where it says markup.add, we don't need that anymore either. And here we just need to specify the new markup. And then we can say good riddance once they say goodbye. Cancel and run again. But of course, you can just go out of this by pressing that button or going back on your phone. But now if we say close, then as you can see, it closed and said good riddance. So yeah, So that's pretty neat. So we can go game, and now we have a bunch of options. So if I click here, then you have boo, help, and close. Now we can close and boom, no more options. And yeah, that is the basics of creating a Telegram bot with Python. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all again in the next tutorial.